Welcome to Kit Katastrophe. My name is Kit, and today we'll be taking a look at Transformers Siege Voyager-class Sound Blaster. This figure came out in 2019 as part of the 35th anniversary set of Walmart exclusives, and is a repaint of Transformers Siege Voyager-class Soundwave. In the same vein as the original Sound Blaster figure from 1987, Siege Sound Blaster is a barely changed black repaint of Soundwave. This obviously raises the question about whether or not Soundwave died on Cybertron, as well as whether or not Blaster and or Twincast will appear as well in this trilogy. Remember how in my original Soundwave review I said that I thought this alternate mode could be some kind of cargo freighter? Well, I'm not exactly going to backpedal that statement, but I guess an alternate interpretation of this box could be some sort of troop transport. Think about it, these things can fly in under the cover provided by the Seekers, turn around and land, opening up their bay doors, allowing tons of Decepticons to flow forth like the initial waves on the beaches of Normandy, and then the transports can fly away. Sometimes I feel like I put more thought into these designs than Hasbro does. Anyway, I have to say I really dig the color scheme. Black, red, and silver might actually be the best color scheme ever concocted, and Sound Blaster wears it proudly. It's such a shame that the paintwork is ruined by the same weathering patina that marred Soundwave surfaces. I'm really happy that this was mostly abandoned for Earthrise. Sound Blaster's transformation is unchanged from that of Soundwave's, which I wasn't particularly keen on to begin with. All of the complaints I lobbed against the original use of this mold still stand, though I can say I've pretty much gotten over it at this point. I knew what I was going into when I got this figure, and I recognized that I was mostly just getting it on looks alone. As much as I love the look of Siege Soundwave's robot mode, weathering effects notwithstanding, he looks even better in black and red. I'll give you a second to admire this piece of art. There is one other obvious difference between Sound Blaster and Soundwave, and that's the chest. The original Headmaster's Sound Blaster figure was retooled to fit 2 cassettes in his chest at the same time, and Siege Sound Blaster has a similar retooling. This does mean that the chest window sticks out, which I can understand being a drawback on this guy's looks. However, this retooling also has an undocumented feature. Siege Sound Blaster has electronics! The feature can be activated using any device that emits an infrared signal, like a remote control or something. Placing Laserbeak and Ravage into his chest lets you watch some video clips on Sound Blaster's chest screen.
And here's a nice look at the face that I was talking about earlier. It's a different model from the Sunbow cartoon.
Welcome to the video review of Transformers Dark of the Moon. Shockwave.
What's amazing to me is that all of this is on a Voyager-class budget. Oh, and here's the best part. Sound Blaster has red light piping! Sound Blaster carries the same 3 accessories that Soundwave did, albeit replacing Soundwave's blue with Sound Blaster's black. Also, for some reason, the names of all of the weapons and combinations have the M2 prefix. I'm not exactly certain what the significance is, but I'm assuming that the M stands for Master, as Soundwave died in Episode 2 of the Headmaster's anime.
Did somebody say someone else already uses a Segway?
Sound Blaster has a ball-jointed head that can look all the way around 360 degrees, and it can nod up and down in a very bubbly manner, and it can also tilt from side to side in a rather inquisitive manner. His shoulders swivel 360 degrees forward and backward, and can go all the way outward for that good. And his biceps swivel 360 degrees, his elbows are double jointed and bend just about 180 degrees, which is the good stuff. He has a waist swivel that goes all the way around and is luckily unimpeded by his backpack. Moving back up to the arms, I forgot to mention he technically has a wrist joint, but they just go inwards for transformation. And technically, due to transformation, he has something of an arcing back. It's not really useful. And he has something of an ab crunch, which I think is a little more useful, though it opens up some gaps in the middle here, as you can see. with that armature. His hip skirts move forward to allow for leg articulation, and that articulation consists of legs that move forward and back all the way in a somewhat less than 180-degree arc, but it's good enough. And they move more than 180 degrees outward for that nice spread. He has thigh swivels that rotate 360 degrees and are a little stiff at some points, but if you work it, it's fine. And the legs bend 90 degrees, which is adequate. Finally, at the feet, his feet can rock forward and backward just a little bit. Not too much, it's more forward than backward. And he has a slight ankle pivot that allows him to take on more wide stances, like that. So, Siege Soundblaster is definitely a very posable figure. He has tons of joints with a great range in all of them. So, you shouldn't have too much trouble trying to get him into many stances that you should want, many poses that you should want. And he doesn't have too many limitations, so Siege Soundblaster gets the kit seal of approval. I hit my light. You know, I think it's so cool that Hasbro was able to reintroduce electronic gimmicks to the main line after so long, and for a Voyager price point no less. Yeah, I wish. Siege Soundblaster is hardly any different from the original, so unless the dual storage option really grabs you, the choice is down to which color scheme you prefer. That being said, it'd probably just be easier to get Soundwave for cheaper, so I can't in good conscience outright recommend Soundblaster. He's alright if you know what you're getting into. I'd say Soundblaster is worth an above average. If you liked this video, then please hit the subscribe button to see more reviews like this in the future, and leave a comment to suggest topics for future reviews. For my next review, it's back to Studio Series. Boss's orders. This has been Katastrophe. Transform and roll out.